So, welcome to episode 2 of what the hell was I going to call it?
Exactly. It was cash grabs. It was misleading marketing, misleading advertising.
Deceptive marketing.
Deceptive.
Yeah, this is episode 2, and this is actually episode 2, although episode 1 was not originally titled, it was not originally the beginning of the series. We did a video about Clear Antenna and about how Clear Antenna is a scam because they kind of use deceptive marketing to make people think that they're going to get something more than just like broadcast TV.
Yeah.
They make it look like it's going to be like cable.
Yeah, it's like cable.
Like some way to steal cable, when in reality it's just an antenna that's really no better than a typical antenna that you would buy in the store.
It's like, wow, you pick up UHF and VHF signal on unencrypted over-the-air television. That's quite the feat.
Yeah, and I found this in a DVD that I had at home, because sometimes you buy a DVD and it still has the advertisements inside of it. And I looked at this and I thought, this is a perfect, this is another example of deceptive marketing. And so I thought, maybe I should kind of grandfather in that video into this series and retroactively make it the start of this new kind of limited series that the Deviant historian and I can do, called Deceptive Marketing. And this is about Family Guy, Stewie, Griffin, the Untold Story. I actually remember when this came out because I was in college at the time. It came out in 2005, September of 2005. And I remember that would have been my second year of college. And the summer of 2005, do you remember, you and I went to the same college.
Yeah.
Do you remember they would have that outdoor orientation?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember I'd already been to college for 1 year because I recognized a certain philosophy professor that you and I both have. I met up with him and I hung out with him there for a while, and then some of the people in the philosophy club. And so that is how I remember that it must have been at least my second year.
But they had so much free stuff there, man. I mean, I like half my kitchen's cups and all kinds of crap just from that college thing. I'd still crash it maybe this fall.
They were giving out condoms.
Oh, yeah.
They were giving out like flavored condoms.
Yeah.
With different colored wrappers. They were actually quite pretty. You could put them in a salad bowl and, put them on your dining room table as a nice centerpiece,
Yeah, it'd be really welcoming and inviting. It's all about
very inviting.
Empowering and empowerment and, safe sex. So,
yeah. So, and yeah, you did get a lot of free stuff. And I remember there was it was like a box of something, some kind of snack, and it had on the side, printed on the side of it, an advertisement a lot like this one with Stewie on it, and it was advertising Stewie, Griffin, an Untold Story. And going back to like the time and place when this happened, this was back when Family Guy was really starting to come into its own.
Well, it's kind of, they got rebooted because they had like 2 or 3 seasons that they got at Fox, and then they got canceled, and then they were coming back, and they're like, wait, we're going to relaunch this series, and we're going to do a cash grab for movies and merchandising and more bullshit.
Yeah, and they relaunched it with better animation, and the writing was a little tighter, and there was definitely more, I think, of Seth MacFarlane's influence in the show.
Yeah.
Like more of his kind of personality. Seth MacFarlane has a very specific kind of brand of humor where you can really tell when it's him. You can tell what jokes he wrote because he just has a certain humor style.
And what music numbers he uses.
Yeah, because he uses a lot of those. And when they rebooted the show, that's when those music numbers really started coming out. Because I remember in the early episodes, you didn't really have so much of that.
Yeah.
But they were really coming into their own, and it was around also the same time that The Simpsons were really starting to go downhill.
Yeah.
And the Fox was kind of like, yeah, Family Guy is our new Simpsons. We're going to keep The Simpsons and milk them for all they're worth and kind of turn them into zombies. But we're going to, Family Guy is going to be our new, like, real cash cow. And Stewie is like the new kind of face of our network, because Stewie was kind of the most popular character on the show. And it's interesting because I actually have some Family Guy DVDs at home. And it's amazing. Like, the Family Guy DVDs are very frustrating.
Yeah.
Because they're not by season. They don't do seasons like season 1, season 2, season 3. They have volumes. It's like volume 1, volume 2, volume 3. I think that's so that they can split the seasons up and charge you more. So it's just another piece of the pattern of how Fox was really milking this show for the money, for as much as they were worth. And Seth MacFarlane went on record, because I was watching these DVDs, and I like to watch the commentary because I enjoy both on The Simpsons and on other shows and movies. I enjoy watching like directors' commentary and things like that.
And you don't get that with streaming. That's what I really like with DVDs, is you get that additional commentary and that additional content.
Yeah, and it's sad that that's going by the wayside, like because it seems like that's becoming a thing of the past, and it's too bad.
Yeah.
But he talked a little bit about this incident, and according to him, he was not aware of what Fox was doing, and he also mentioned the volume system for the DVDs, and how that wasn't up to him either. And I'm inclined to believe him.
Yeah.
Because Seth MacFarlane, I mean, I'm sure everybody in Hollywood is a scumbag to a certain degree. You kind of have to be. But Seth MacFarlane strikes me as someone who has a certain amount of integrity.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's just, there's something about him that just makes you think this guy. He's not a terrible guy.
If he's putting his name on it, he wants it right. He's not going to be like, oh, I'm going to just gouge the shit out of my fans. Instead of season 1, it's going to be 3 volumes for 1 season. Right. Oh yeah, triple the money.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds like some corporate fat cat.
Yeah. Yeah. So what happened was, they told him, we want a 3-part episode, starring Stewie, and kind of where Stewie is the main character and the main arc of the story. And in the story, and I know this because I've seen reruns of it on TV so many times, he has a time machine, which Stewie always has a time machine. That became like a running thing. He goes back in time, or he goes forward in time and meets his future self, or actually his future self goes back in time to the present day, because in the future they take vacations to different time periods. And he goes back to that time period, and he recognizes himself on TV, but he doesn't know that it's him. He thinks it's like his real father or something. So he tracks this guy down, and he says, "No, I'm not your father. I'm you." And the two of them go to the future, and Stewie finds out that he's this loser who like works retail, and he's like a virgin and stuff, and he's like, we've got to stop this from happening. So it's kind of like, it's almost like a Back to the Future type of thing, where he has to fix his own life and go back and prevent himself from almost getting hit by a lifeguard chair or something, like something that traumatized him in the past and made him turn into this guy. And so that's the 3-part story arc. And it's entertaining, but it's not really anything special by Family Guy standards. It's not like this epic story. The animation is the same. There's no uptick in the
Star Wars
quality.
one they did was cool, though.
Yeah.
They did a Star Wars one that was a special, and that was cool. I think I have this actual DVD, and then I think I have the Star Wars one, too.
There was a time when making Star Wars parodies was really hot.
Yeah.
And that was kind of kicked off by Robot Chicken.
Yeah.
Which is owned by Seth Green. And Seth Green plays the kid, the blonde kid,
yes.
Chris on the Family Guy, and he had his own show called Robot Chicken, and they started that whole craze of like every animated show doing a Star Wars parody, and so that was pretty good. It was pretty funny, and then but the Stewie Griffin the Untold Story was definitely a cash grab, because they marketed it as a feature-length film. They say right on there, but they don't actually call it a film. You see, they're very careful. They say all new feature-length premiere, and it is a feature-length premiere. Every episode is 22 minutes. 22 minutes times 3 is 66 minutes, which is just barely a movie. Yeah, just barely feature-length.
Well, that's like an hour. That's barely an hour, 66 minutes.
I think that if it's more than 1 hour and 5 minutes, it's considered feature length. So they just barely met that legal requirement.
Wow.
So they really played it close to the chest. But yeah, they made it. And to be fair, I think the DVD version does have some extra stuff.
Yeah.
And obviously it's uncensored, which is a big thing. Everybody wants to hear the F word, like They want to hear Stewie say the F word instead of having it get bleeped out, you know, and that's worth $20 or however much it cost, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just kind of an example of how marketing can be used very deceptively, and when you see like stuff on TV where people are being very careful with their words, buyer beware, because if they're being careful with their words like that, they're doing that for a reason.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so I think that we've pretty much said all we need to say about it, but it was kind of an interesting it's an interesting moment in the history of the Fox network.
Well, it's interesting to me too on how much the media landscape's changed in 15 years. Like back then, this was really cool. You could own a tangible piece of media content, and this is really before Netflix existed, but it was really a DVD sharing service.
Yeah.
They didn't even have streaming then. Where now people are like, who gives a shit? They would just pull it up on an app and stream it probably somewhere, you know, versus watching it on the DVD.
I saw an ad for Peacock. You know how Peacock is coming up, and on the ad they say we have Beetlejuice now, so you can watch Beetlejuice, and it's like great at Christmas time.
Yeah.
Instead of Halloween, you know, it's like now, you know, and you know, Apple had the Charlie Brown Christmas special, and they loaned it out to PBS so the PBS could air it at least once because there was so much uproar about like Apple owning the Charlie Brown specials, and you know, and so to quell that, they were like, okay, we're going to let PBS play it once, you know. I do think that it's better for PBS to play it because at least then they can play it commercial free.
Yeah.
Because it's very jarring to watch an old Christmas special and they cut to commercial and it's a bunch of crappy modern commercials.
Yeah. Head on, point directly to the forehead. Head on, point directly to the forehead.
Yeah.
You know, or some obnoxious one.
Yeah. Some insurance commercial.
Or scumbag lawyer. This is Johnny 2 times attorney at law. I hope you never need my services, but if you do, you know where to reach me.
Yeah. Or mostly just those obnoxious insurance commercials like Flo.
Yeah.
Flo from Progressive or the Gecko or whatever.
Well, Flo just sounds like you got to flush her down the toilet. You know, that's what Flo sounds like to me.
I think it's about time for that, definitely.
Yeah. So.
She was on one episode of what's that show? The John Hamm show. The show where he's like a sales guy in the 60s. Damn it.
Mad Men?
Mad Men, yeah. She played one of the phone operators, and it's like, don't pretend you're a real actress.
Oh.
You're not a real actress. At this point, you're not an actress.
It's a corporate shell.
You're a pitch woman.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I think that pretty much says it all. And
I think we did this justice with long, rambling escapades, the best kind.
Yeah. But no, I agree with you. Definitely, physical media is the way to go.
Yeah.
Because then you actually own the thing. You're not depending on a streaming service to
on corporate contracts and agreements that come and go every few years, and then it disappears.
Yeah, and you have to pay attention to who owns what. I don't give a shit about who owns what. Yeah. I want to own it. I want to be the owner of it. So it is an interesting. At least when you bought this thing, you owned it.
Yep.
So, all right. Thanks, folks.